Hi, I'm Danny, and today we're going to look at what Zoom is and how it works. Zoom is an online tool designed to facilitate interactive sessions. It's mainly used for webinars, support sessions, virtual classrooms, staff meetings and conferencing, anything that requires face-to-face and shared screen. Zoom comes with two types of licenses. The Pro license, which gives you unlimited session duration, facilitates cloud storage of up to 1 GB, maximum of 100 participants with an option to extend, and a unique meeting ID, whereas the Basic maxes out at 40 minutes duration with a reminder after 30, 100 participants, and facilitates local recording. Now let's have a demonstration of the product. This is what happens the first time you will use Zoom with It's Learning. Logged in as Shan, I can go to my course calendar and I can create a new event. I'll select my course, which will be Fine Art, make sure that all participants can see it, choose a title, and add a description. After adding a description, we're going to click on Add Resource. And although we can add a resource, we're going to click Show All instead of adding it from the course. From here we can see the Zoom Classroom resource. Clicking on Zoom Classroom loads up the tool and tells us that we've been sent an email. We now need to log into our email to authorise that we are the correct teacher accessing the tool. The email will look something like this, although in English, and you'll click on the long link in the middle. Once clicked, you'll be back to It's Learning and you can select the Zoom resource from the calendar event you've just created. This will take you to a login page. You can choose to log in with Facebook or Google. I'm just going to use the normal bog standard email. It automatically fills in the name and you can use any password. In this instance, I'm just going to use the one recommended by my computer. On pressing continue, we are then logged into the Zoom online portal and we can start a meeting from here, or we can go back to It's Learning and start a meeting directly from the VLE where we set it up. We're now accessing Zoom. It's time for another demonstration, which will be how you will use Zoom in the general day-to-day to facilitate online learning. So back to It's Learning, and we're in our calendar and we're going to create our event, give it a quick title, and a description, and then we're going to add that resource. I'm going to show all and select our Zoom Classroom. The tool opens up and we can see that we can schedule a meeting at the top right. What we are going to look at first is these options across the top. So we can see our previous meetings in one place. We can see the options for our personal meeting room so that we can send a personal invitation really quickly to somebody to give them instant support. And we've got our options down at the bottom. We can require a meeting password, mute participants on entry, which is a fantastic option because then they come in quietly and you can choose to let them speak as you would like. We can enable waiting rooms, and we can record the meeting automatically, which is something that we will do shortly. Looking at the cloud recordings, this is something that we can come back to, but all of the recordings will show up here, and they're only going to be shown to the students and the learners if we toggle to say that they've been published. We can select to show course recordings for this course only, so just for the art course, and that will really help us to find specific recordings that we might want to send to people. So let's create our first meeting. This is going to be a fine art support session. We'll give it a quick description. Once we've given it a description, we'll set the date and time. So we'll make this one for 2:30, about an hour long. And we can also choose to make this a recurring meeting. So if we're going to have a support session at the same time each week, we can do that really easily as well. We can allow for registration so that our learners have to register. We'll know that they're there anyway, but that gives us a nice little register. We can choose whether they're going to have video at the beginning. We're going to keep this off at the moment though, just in case there's some bandwidth issues. With regards to audio, we can let them join via the computer or the telephone, so if they don't have a computer at home, they can always join in the sessions on the telephone. And then we've got our options as previously discussed, and I'm going to tick the box to record the meeting. We're going to put this meeting on the cloud, but on the basic license you'll only be able to do it onto the computer. So let's save these, and that's our meeting ready to go. We'll give it a quick title, that way we know what it is when we come to look for it. And now coming back out of there, we can create the event and it's ready to go for us and for the learners. So let's click onto our event. We can go into our support session. It will then begin to load. And after just a moment, we'll show you the screen where you can start any of the sessions that you've created. So in this case, it's our fine art session for today. We can click on our fine art topic and it will take us back to the settings where we can send this as an invitation over email. We can edit any of the settings and we can review the settings that it already has. So what we'll do is, instead of going back, we'll just start the meeting from here. The meeting starts to load. Now we can open it in Zoom's own app, which will include a download, and this will give us a really good experience. But what we're going to do is cancel that for now, and we're going to do it in the web browser so you can see exactly how it looks without needing to download anything. Now that does involve a login for the teacher, so I'm just going to log in as my teacher, and there we go, straight into Zoom, completely online and not using any tools that need downloading. So from here I can see that the audio selection is on there straight away. We can join by computer audio, or we can take a look at the phone options, and every user sees this when they log on. I'm going to come out of there now. I'm not going to put any audio on because I'm recording my voice over this. And we can see at the bottom left, there's that option for the audio. Moving on to the video option, we can see that currently there's no video enabled. We can click this button and start our own webcam, just like a learner can too. I've clicked this button and we can see I'm now on screen. Say hi, Danny. He's not doing. How rude. So let's see how we can invite people. By clicking on the invite button, we can invite via email using our default provider, Gmail or Yahoo. We can copy the URL or the invitation so that we can send those out to other users. we can see someone's just logged in, and there's a picture of them displayed. So when there's no online feed, no video, we do see a picture there if the user has decided to add one. Looking at the participants, I can see at the top right who that person is. I can see that they've not got a microphone connected and that the webcam's turned off. I can therefore recommend that they contact us via a telephone so that they can see the screen and communicate at the same time. If they did have a microphone, I could mute this by clicking on the options and selecting a mute option from within here. We can also make them authors and co-authors so that we can collaborate together on presentations and give a learner the ability to stand up in front of the class. We can also rename the learner if they've chosen a silly name to log in with. We can also see from the options to the right that we can mute the participants on entry. We can also lock the meeting and have other options available. On the left we can mute all by the click of a button. Moving on, we'll skip over the screen sharing for now and come back to that later and go straight to the chat. In the chat function, everybody can chat together and ask questions. So if there's two teachers in a room, one can be delivering and the other can be answering questions. You can also allow private chats between learners, but this is not recommended. A chat transcript will also be produced. Somebody's already sent us a message and we can respond to them really quickly down at the bottom right. Now we've responded, let's take a look at the other options. We've got the recording option down here, and we can see that because we've got it set to automatic record, it's already started. We can also disable video receiving, which is great because if I have a really good internet connection but my student has a weak one, the student can stop their video and help get a better signal and a better presentation. Now let's take a look at that screen sharing option. Looking at the arrow to the right, we can decide if one person or multiple people are going to share at the same time, which is great for group work and group collaboration on delivery. We also have some more advanced options. By clicking on the green share screen button, we get the option to share a particular computer screen, which will share all of the screen. We can also select to share a particular application or a tab on a web browser. Doing things this way will hide any of the screens and the content of those pop-up windows. Now let's come back to it as a student. By clicking on our calendar event and selecting the tool, we're automatically taken to Zoom. In just a couple of clicks, we can see the meeting and select join. Just like before, we're going to join from the browser instead of the actual app. We need to put in a name. In this case, I'm going to put the student's name, which is Nadine. Straight away we're brought into Zoom, and I'll remove the audio options one more time. We can see that it's recording, and we can even add additional class friends or even parents. Looking at the participants, I can see who's online, raise my hand if I need help, and the teacher can recognise that and put that hand down again. I can chat to my fellow learners and get support off everybody as a group. Again, we can remove that video receiving and increase our bandwidth. So, let's go back to see what the teacher can see. The teacher now sees the full chat history. As you can see, Nadine has raised her hand, and in one button she can remove that raise. What we'll do now is we'll leave the meeting, we'll choose to end it for everybody, and we'll go back to its learning. We'll now take a look at how we can share this session between other learners and teachers. Back onto the Zoom application, and we can see the Cloud Recordings tab. Clicking on this, we can now see a cloud recording. We can see some filtering options at the top, including a tip box so I can only see recordings from this particular course, this fine art. We can go up to this top here and see every recording and every meeting if we want to. By clicking on Publish, we can make this recording visible for all of our learners. If that option isn't activated, the learners will not see it. Clicking on the title, we can see a video, an audio, and a chat transcript box. We can choose to share these by clicking on Share and sending that link by copying and pasting into our It's Learning Instant Messenger to all of our learners or parents. We can also open each individual one, see the chat messages, and start to play the recordings. We can download this as well. So, going back, let's have a look at how the learner sees this. Logged in as the learner, I can see less options, but I still see that chat recordings tab. And I can see, because we've ticked that box for publish, I can see the chat recording. On this screen, I'm missing the chats, and that's because the learners don't get to see the chat transcripts. So how do we get it? First of all, you'll place the order. Once the order is placed, we'll email you an agreement for you to sign and return to us. Then, we'll set you up on Zoom. We'll add your account as a pro user. You'll receive an email, much like earlier in the video. You'll click the link, authorize yourself, and then you're completely set up and good to go. Then we integrate Zoom with It's Learning using LTI, which is Learning Tool Interoperability. We use a pro version of this. We add Zoom to your It's Learning site. It shows for all teachers under the resources section, so you can add it as a tool. You and your staff can now add Zoom sessions anywhere in the platform. And it's as simple as that. You can crack on and you're good to go.